Welcome to TruPowur, home of the most powerful marketing tools, training, and technology on planet Earth. Get ready to earn, enjoy, and experience more than you ever dreamed was possible. If you're tired of just getting by and ready to really thrive, then buckle in and listen up. Here's your host, Matt Fox.
Hello and welcome to TruPowur Academy, and this is episode 229. Today, in this training, we are going to talk about the commercial sales cycle and the different phases. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So we're going to start here from the Agent Quick Launch menu, which everybody should know how to access by now. It is at agent.trupowur.com. And if you look down below, you will actually find the commercial sales cycle in phases printed out to kind of guide you through this process. And this is something that we're going to go into a little bit more in depth today. And so in phase one, obviously, we are in the CRM contacting customers for an electric utility audit using the script and the email template. So if we go up to our quick launch menu and click on CRM, it is going to pull up our CRM and dialer so that we can talk to customers. From here, you have the customer's information, you have the utility audit, a residential script, commercial, solar, and we're going to focus on the utility audit script. So very simple. Hello, my name is, and I work with a company called TruPowur. We provide a free service to check your utility bills going back as much as 4 years, making sure there aren't any overcharges or errors under the capacity classification or tariff that ultimately may result in unwanted charges. Believe it or not, over 70% of the time, we find those errors resulting in substantial amounts that we get as a refund back to you. Are you the person who is responsible for controlling the cost or handling the bills in this area? So the script is pretty straightforward. Once we have determined who we're talking to and that we need to move forward, once you get and obtain their email address, simply click on Send Email. That'll open up the email templates. From here on the drop down, you can select Personalized. If you were talking to the person that actually handles it, then you want to use the personalized template. If it was somebody else who was telling you that person is not in today, but here's their email address, well, then you wouldn't want to send a personalized because you didn't speak to them. So you want to send the one that says referred by somebody. So that way it'll says, I was referred to you as the person who handles controlling the cost of the company. So it's really important to know the difference between these two. And then, of course, you have follow-up reminder emails in case they forgot to get that utility out to you. One of the things that's very important is to make sure and find out, when do you think you can get that back to me? So that way you absolutely know when they're committed to getting that into your hands right away. So you may even want to come down and set an appointment so you can follow up with that person in case they didn't follow through at that specific time. So now let's assume that the customer has sent you the utility bill. And so what is the next step? Well, let's go back over here to our sales cycle. Upon receipt of the utility bills, submit it to the auditors, making sure that we have the complete bill in a PDF format. If they've taken a snapshot of that bill and it's in an image or it's in any other format other than a PDF format, you can go up here to the PDF tools and use that to convert that to a PDF. But let's assume now that the customer has sent you that, it is in a PDF format, and now we're going to upload that to the auditors. So we will come up here to the submit to customer for the utility audit. It is going to open up the audit page where you are going to put in your information, name and email address. Then you're going to put in the customer information, their contact information, the decision makers information. So their name, their title, email, phone number, and then information about that business and that business information. So the company name, company address, and then what kind of business is this business? Whatever category they fit in, go ahead and select that. And then, of course, the audit information, when you are adding special notes in there, maybe it's something that's pertinent to what they do, or you want to tell the auditors a little bit more about that business. A lot of times I'll go to their website, look at their about page, copy a paragraph about their about page and post and drop that in there. That just gives the auditors a little bit of a heads up as to what type of business and what kind of things that they do. And then if we are uploading an electric bill, you'll see down here that you've got some check boxes and a submit button. But soon as you click on any one of these cost centers, it is going to open up a field for you to add some additional information, like what is the total monthly spend of the electric account? And you'll notice down here, it says, please include one recent energy invoice. The total minimum monthly spend should be no less than $10,000 per month per facility. Now, I know I've said in the past that you can add multiple bills. That's true. You can put all of the bills in there, but you need to have at least one of those bills has got to have at least a $10,000 a month minimum spend. So if you've got 10 different bills and each one is 1,000, it doesn't count. If you've got one that's 10,000 and you've got 300 of them that all range from $2 to $99, then you can add all of that together. But we do need to have at least one that has no less than a $10,000 a month minimum spend. Now, having said that, there are occasions where if we have both the electric and the natural gas bill and they total $10,000 a month, not always, but in occasion, we can put those together and make it meet the minimum spend. You're much safer to stick with each bill independently meeting the minimum spend. So if you were doing just the natural gas, you can see that it still says a $10,000 minimum spend. There are obviously the minimum spends on each one of these is a little different. So if we are looking at the water and sewer, you can see that the minimum spend is $4,000, so a lot less. Water and sewer. Waste removal is a huge one. Lots of errors in there usually are able to find significant savings and significant refunds in the waste removal because almost everybody has to pay for dumpsters and that kind of thing. that is $2,000 a month per facility. So if they have a $2,000 a month trash pickup bill, I would add it in there. So each one of these is going to tell you exactly what that minimum spend is. And, you know, we talked in the past about the ERCs, and we're probably going to go over that a little bit more in the near future. But you have an opportunity to do a lot with these ERCs. And we sent out a brochure talking a little bit more about that. But in essence, you know, you've got businesses that qualify and can get some really large amounts of money back on the ERC, which is the employee retention credit. And so in here, you would place how many W-2s were issued in 2020, how many estimated number of W-2s were issued in 2021. So we'll talk about that more at another time, but right now we want to finish up with the electric. So we have a bill, and let's say that it is $12,000. We're going to drag and drop their bill onto here, or you can click that and it'll open up a dialog box for you to select the file wherever you saved it on your desktop and then hit submit. Now, if you're wanting to find where the minimum monthly spend is more than just off of the form, if you go into your CRM and click on documents right here under utility audit, you will see recommended minimum spend checklist, and that will open up and you can see what the minimum spends are. So the energy audit is a $10,000 a month spend per facility. You need one energy bill and a copy of their contracts if the auditors ask for it. Water and sewer is $4,000, waste removal is $2,000. So take a look at this minimum spend and understand that a little bit more. So I would not get in discussion with minimum spends with the customer. I want to get a copy of their utility bill no matter what. So I'm not going to get into how much is your bill before I get the bill. I'd rather look at the bill and then make that determination then. So let's go back over to the quick launch menu. And if you click on the utility audit resources, you will also find that information is available right there. So you have the minimum monthly spend is posted at least in 3 places: in your CRM, on the website itself, and on the form. So no reason why we shouldn't be able to follow along with that. So once we've uploaded that bill to the auditor, so immediately we're going to enter the customer information into the pricing platform and generate a proposal, or for larger customers, prepare the customer for a reverse auction or request for price, RFP. So once we have gotten the bill, we're going to upload it to the auditors so they can get to work if it meets the minimum threshold. If not, whether it meets the minimum spend or not, then we immediately go to phase 3, which is enter that customer's information into the pricing platform and generate a proposal, or for larger customers, prepare that for a reverse auction or request for price, which are virtually one and the same. So I think sometimes people have a tendency to upload it to the auditors and then they're waiting to hear something back from the auditors before they go to phase 3. This is all in one step. Really, it should be upload it to the auditors. And so once you've done that, let's assume that you have prepared a proposal, and I am more than happy to walk you through that process when you get your first utility, and make sure that you are familiar with on how to do that. So once you've prepared the proposal, then you're going to want to go back to your CRM, and we're going to email that proposal to the customer. So you click on the drop down, and from here, you're going to select the supplier savings proposal. And so right here, it says, during our initial audit investigation, additional savings was identified on the account. Please take a look at the attached PDF. Give me a call. We'll go over the details. So right here, you're going to click on attach. You're going to attach that proposal and send it to the customer. Now, you and I both know that once the customer opens any email sent from the CRM, it is going to give you a pop-up on the screen so that you are immediately notified that they're looking at it. So that's the best time to call them. Just simply give them a call. Have you had a chance to take a look at that proposal yet? Or have you had a chance to take a look at that information that I sent to you? As a matter of fact, I'm looking at it right now. Perfect timing. So be proactive, make sure that you stay on top of those things, because timing is valuably important. So speaking of timing, we have been diligently working on a process to provide more reporting as to where the audit is in the audit process. So one of the things that we have done and are finishing up on is a place where you can, you and your customer will be able to log in and see the activity and what is taking place with the audit so that you can follow along. So once you log in, obviously, this is a fictitious company name, but for this example, so their company name is going to be there, the project details. So if you click this drop down, it's going to have their address, their contact information, who is the client, what is the time frame that we're looking for this audit to be completed, what's the progress, and who is in charge of it, who's actually working on it at the moment, and then who has access to it. And down below, you will see the area of the task where it will basically walk you through step by step and let you know as to what part of the audit are they working on, how are they completing it, what stage are they in completing the audit. Some audits are rather quick. The ERCs take about 10 days, but guess what? They take about 9 months before the customer actually gets that money from the government. They'll get it, but it takes about 9 months. An electric audit typically takes 30 to 60 days. Sometimes I've seen some of them take 90 to 120 days. It just really depends on the audit and the complexity of that audit. But in general, typically about 30 to 60 days. But this is going to help you identify, as well as the customer, to be able to identify and see exactly what is happening with the audit. And you can log in 24 hours a day. We're not quite finished with some of the things that we're doing here. So hopefully by the 1st, we'll have this kicked off for you. But I think that's going to make it a lot easier and take a lot of additional back and forth emails between auditors and support and people, what's happening, what's going on. So you'll be able to see it. the customer will be able to see it. And of course, any of the files that belong to this, such as what are the utility bills that were uploaded for that, what are the progress notes, discussion, and milestones. If there were any issues where we needed additional information, that will automatically go out to you, the supporting agent or broker. And if anytime there are any changes, each time there will be a change within the progress of the project details, then you will get a notification automatically. That's the way it's supposed to work. That's the way I want it to work. So hopefully all of that gets done on time so that we can roll that out by the 1st of April. Not April Fools, but we do want to make sure we get this thing done as quickly as possible. We've been working on a lot of different things that we're adding into our system. So I appreciate everybody's patience on that. So, and if there's any additional milestones, any errors that have been found, things that are going to be pertinent as to how much savings was found and those different details, those will all be listed here in the different milestones. So this will all have a high level overview of what the back end will look like, or the login. So when a customer logs in, they'll actually only be able to see their things. And then of course, if you, the agent or the broker, will actually be able to log in and see all of their deals. So you'll have a list of those down on the left-hand column where you can select and go to each one and see what the progress is for each one of your audits. So that will free up a lot of time for auditors and support, because we've got a lot of other things that are going on as we are getting larger and larger all the time. We need to focus on things that are going to put money in the customer's pocket, put money in your pocket, and save customers money as well. So let's jump back over here to the commercial sales cycle in phases. And so once we've renamed that proposal to the business name and sent it to the customer using the CRM email template, then we want to follow up with that customer and let them know that we received a copy of their utility bill safe and sound, that the auditors are already underway, and during the initial investigation, some additional savings were discovered. That I emailed you some information. When you have a chance, take a look at that, give me a call, and we'll go over the details. Upon review, once that customer has opened it and you've talked to them and reviewed the proposal and they want to move forward, then you're going to simply click on the sign up button correlating to the proposal, which is going to pull the contract for that supplier for that state, fill it out for you so there's no human error, and send that to the customer for an electronic signature. Much like a DocuSign, they are going to open that, type in their name, hit enter. It will come back and attach itself right back to the account that it came from within your pricing platform. And send you and the supplier a notification that you now have signed contracts, and it'll update the platform from pending to signed. And then once the suppliers have signed off on that, which is usually about 3 to 7 days in general, then you'll get another notification that now it has been confirmed. So now it is a commissionable event. After the new contract is confirmed, then you want to contact the customer and go over all of the extra available cost centers. So again, we go back to the cost centers. So we've only talked about the utility audit on the initial phone call. We don't want to overwhelm the customer with a lot of details, because that will just the response you will get is send me some information. And that usually is a clue that you talk too much. So keep it on one lane. The utility audit, once we've uploaded the bill, we are going to create the proposal. We're going to send it to the customer. Once all of that stuff is done, then, and the supplier has signed off on everything. You want to wait till that is done. Then go back to the customer and say, in review of your account, I see that there are actually additional cost centers that have the potential to increase the amount of the refund. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, as you know, we have the electric account under audit. Do you use natural gas? Sure, maybe. Okay. How about water and sewer? Absolutely. Waste removal, like dumpsters, that kind of thing. Oh, yeah. Telecom, wireless, shipping, freight, financing, go through all of the whole list there. Any or all of those additional cost centers have the potential to increase the amount of the refund. Now, sometimes you'll get customers who will give you a little bit of pushback and say, well, let's just do the electric. And then when we see what the results are for that, then we'll talk about doing some of the other things. Well, sometimes I have seen where there have been absolutely no errors in the electric and huge errors in some of the other cost centers. So trying to give you results on one thing based off of the efforts of another is really not going to provide you any value. So you need to convey that message to the customer. And so anyway, so the attempt here obviously is to add the additional cost centers, and we want to do that within a timely period once we know we have exhausted or have signed a contract with the customer at the supplier side. So we have the audit underway. We're going to immediately do the supplier side so that we can look at what additional savings we can provide that customer. Once that's inked and done, then we want to come back and add the other additional cost centers. So once all of that information is brought in and added to the audit for whatever other cost centers you might have had, then you have the opportunity to talk to the customer about any of the other additional services that TruPowur offers if they're applicable. So things like commercial natural gas. So if in the process of looking at this, we saw that they have natural gas, then immediately we're going to want to go ahead and do just like we did with the electric, except now with the natural gas. So the commercial natural gas, and then of course their home, their residential electric and natural gas, the free solar program, if they're in one of these participating states down here, power factor correction, LED lighting, or any of the other services that TruPowur offers. So there are multiple revenue streams that you can create, but the thing that you need to focus on immediately is getting a copy of that utility bill from the auditor, and then whether it meets the threshold or not of the minimum monthly spend, you immediately want to get that thing into the pricing platform and generate a proposal or prepare it for a reverse auction or request for price. If it meets the minimum threshold, then we want to definitely send that to the auditors. Don't upload bills that are $68 a month. It's just a waste of time. They're not going to look at it and kick it back, and it's just putting more busy work because they're going to respond to you and tell you that it does not meet the minimum monthly spend. So anyway, so wanted to walk you through some of this and how valuably important it is to understand that. I think a lot of times people get that, they upload it to the auditors, and this is where they stop. rather than immediately entering that customer's information into the pricing platform. And if you haven't done it or it's your first time, give me a call, send a note to support, whatever. I always enjoy walking you through that process so that you have a clear idea as to how to do it. It's not very difficult. Put it into the system, analyze it, create the report, or look at what will it take to do a reverse auction to provide that customer the most valuable information on the supplier side. So I hope that this brought you value. And in closing, I want to talk a little bit about the changes that have been made in the licensing. So let me pull that up. All right. So here are some of the changes that have come about over the past few days in the licensing. And so, and I think you should really take advantage of this. If you're not, I want to bring it to your attention so you can, if it's something that you've been entertaining. But the agent license is $400 a month. The brokerage license used to be $4,000 a year. Both of those have changed slightly. So the agent license is still $400 a month. There's no setup fee. It's just month to month. Obviously, if for some reason you need to terminate, you need to give accounting and support a 30-day notice. That's what your contract says. That's the way we put it, because we always work 60 to 90 days out in our expenditures. And so that's just how we want it done. However, as a bonus, you can reduce the cost of the agent license down to $100 a month. How? Well, simply by doing your job, really. But if you look at some of the things that we have added into the 90-day money made guarantee, you will see that, obviously we want to put you on pace so that you're making a minimum of $120,000 a year. Because we know that if you're making $10,000 a month or $120,000 a year, that you get to a certain threshold, and then that second 20, 30, 40, 50 becomes so much easier. So how do we get there? Well, when you see the people that are doing the work, it happens. The people that don't is they go in there, they make 200 phone calls, and they haven't done anything in 2, 3, 4 weeks, and they kind of drop off, and you don't know what's going on with them. So we want to obviously be proactive in helping you and staying on point and creating income. Because if you don't make income, I'd rather you keep the $400. Don't even start. Keep the $400 because it costs the company a lot more than that. I mean, you've got about a 10% stake in it compared to what the company pays in expenditures. So if you're not going to do the work, just don't even start. Anyways, but if you are serious about changing your life and changing your income, look, by just simply doing your job and making a minimum of 100 calls a day, Monday through Friday, then after 30 days, we will reduce your agent license to $300 a month. After 60 days to $200. After 90 days to $100. So you could literally put yourself in a position where your agent license has dropped from $400 a month to down to $100 a month. It obviously is going to cost the company a lot more. But if you're staying on task and you're making a minimum of 100 calls a day, Monday through Friday, it's going to happen. It's just going to happen. So the big point here is staying on point, staying on task, staying moving forward. Now, obviously, if you're making 100 calls a day and you have no talk time, then we need to talk. If you've got a lot of talk time and no conversion, then we might need to talk. So we'll be monitoring that, and we're doing more and more looking and reviewing calls and sending you some of those video reviews so that we walk you through the call and give you tips that's going to help you. But look, at the end of the day, you get to benefit and have your agent license cost reduced just because you're doing what you're supposed to do anyway. So anyway, so here are the requirements down below. You can take a look at that on the 90-day money made guarantee. If you're interested in enrolling in that, then by all means, get involved, take advantage of it. All that tells me really is that you're committed to doing what it takes to make the kind of income that you want to do. So I don't know why you wouldn't want to anyway. So anyways, that's right there under the 90-day money made guarantee. Now for the brokers, where it used to be $4,000 a year, we have changed that to where it is now $4,000 once as a setup fee, and then $100 a month, which would match somebody over here equal to what an agent would be paying if they're doing their job, right? So puts everybody a little bit more on the same playing field, other than obviously the portal to set up for a broker is a lot more programming and things that go on. And we obviously want to know that you're committed. So you pay a $4,000 setup fee and then $100 a month, the bonus. Again, we're here to help you build an income and your business. So if you have a broker's license, then once you have completed all of your onboarding and training and everything else, then one of the things that we're going to do is we will start adding trained, aged, and agents that are already proficient in what it is that they're supposed to be doing. So we'll be adding up to 5 trained agents into your business. So you're making 20, 30, 40% on other people's efforts. There's nothing wrong with that. There's some people that just want to work for themselves. They're not interested in a brokerage. That's fine. Stay as an agent. That's okay. But at the end of the day, if I can pair some agents up with some brokers to give them some encouragement and some insight and some additional help, that takes the load off of the company a little bit. Shares in the revenue, obviously that's giving somebody else that revenue that generally would go to TruPowur. So, but at the same time, it's helping build that community. It's helped building that business, and we all have the same goal. And so if you are wondering why you even have to pay an agent license or pay a licensing fee each month, come down and take a look at this page as to everything that goes involved in there. And I think you'll have a little bit better picture. So I'm going to stop here for now and open the floor for a little Q&A. If you are watching this back on the playback, then you obviously are not going to see the Q&A. So I would suggest that next time, join in. Hope that you found value in today's stream. If you did, I have a favor to ask. Please subscribe to our channel and give us a like and a share, and let others know about TruPowur and TruPowur Academy. Until next time, I'm Matt Fox. Have fun storming the castle.